live on YouTube for anyone who would like to catch up. And well, somebody actually did mention another session we did on karma. I think we did 5 or 6 sessions on karma, and somebody said that if you could expand that further. So maybe later, if in case we get the chance, Krishna's mercy, we might do that. But let's resume to our Shri Īśopaniṣad mantra 13, and this is all due to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada ji. So let's do Mangalacharan and then we shall resume. Feel free to join me in Mangalacharan. Om.
Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitanena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Stapitena Bhutale
Swayam
Swayam
Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yudapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanavitam Tam Sajiva Advaitam Savadutam Paritana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visavitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shila Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Radhe ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for everyone's presence. Now we are doing Shri Īśopaniṣad and there are 18 mantras. And if you take the overview of 18 mantras, then we are here. We did the first 4, invocation mantra, Om Purnamada Purnamidam, which is that Krishna is Purna, and then there are 3 mantras following it, how we should live in the Īśāvasyam principle. What will happen if we live in the harmony, and what will not happen if we will live in disharmony. And then 4 to 8, that we could understand Krishna, Ishwar, not by material vision, but we need a spiritual vision. And we get a spiritual vision from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Then 9 to 11, the right and wrong vidya, the knowledge, the understanding. And then there are 3 verses there, 9, 10, 11, how both of them, they go along each other. So if we are knowledgeable about spiritual stuff, then definitely about material we have to leave. Which, even if we are not spiritual, if you think about it, even if we are just material, even a professor who has a PhD, which is the in-depth knowledge about one area of one subject, even that professor will be not so knowledgeable about something else. For example, physics professor will not know everything about maybe chemistry or business or for finance. So when we have the knowledge about something, we will definitely be unaware about something else. And this is mantra 11 says that knowledge goes hand in hand. So if we know about something, we will not know about something. Spiritually, if we will spend more time spiritually, that means that materially we will have to leave something. So we cannot have, well, of course, the balance is there, but then in material, what do we need to know about rather than wasting our time in it? And most of the devotees I have met, they are always happy what they have left in the material. Where, so the Sanskrit word is prajalpa, when we waste time, and there are 6 factors how we can waste time, and about the whole category in prajalpa. So devotees say that we used to spend so much time in prajalpa. Now we have reduced that time with a hope that one day we will not spend any time in prajalpa, because that's not good for our bhakti devotion. But that's when we have the true right and wrong understanding, the knowledge. Then moving on from the similar pattern, like 9, 10, 11 verse, we have 12, 13, and 14 verse. So right and wrong upasana, worship. And once we will do that worship, we will able to do the intense prayer to Krishna. And as it says, we cannot demand, we cannot claim, but we can only pray. And there are so many examples, the way we can understand. When the devotees with pure heart request Krishna something, then it's Krishna's will whether Krishna will answer all those prayers or not. Because we might not be pure devotees, we might ask for anything, and even though we won't think, but we might have the hidden agenda, we have material attachments, and because of those attachments, we are praying for something. But Krishna knows what's good for us, and Krishna will answer those prayers. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna protect what's required, and provide what's needful, right? Not what's wishful, what's needful. So we should always be very careful. So this way, devotees are always peaceful. That if we have lost something, then maybe that thing, that person, that there was a time for that thing or the person to go away. And anyways, materially, we should not be attached to anything or anyone. So mantra 12, and then we are moving to mantra 13. And we started with this time Radhesham Prabhuji's presentations, where we saw the connection between mantra 12 and mantra 13. So this is we have done this as well, where we have seen the 10 different aspects of how we should do the correct worship of the Supreme. And then we have gone into details. So I'm flicking through these slides because we have already done it. So from whom to know? From whom to know that what is the correct way of worshipping the Lord? Bona fide parampara acharya, parampara kyata, the Bhagavad Gita verse. And then dhira, this is when we will see in Nectar of Instruction, vacho vegam mansaha krodha vegam. So the definition of a dhira, dhira is for guru. So who is a dhira? Who is a guru? Guru is a dhira. Who is a dhira? Who has sense controls. And then there's only one motive of that guru. That guru will engage us in Krishna's devotion or devotional services. That's it. That's how simple it is. Like a lot of friends this morning we were discussing, and somebody said, well, it's hard. These days the world is full of pseudo gurus. And I say, well, that's true. But this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is famous for that. This is the attribute of Kali Yuga. But that doesn't mean that we don't have bona fide acharyas who are in one parampara. And ISKCON is one of them. And I won't say that ISKCON is the only one. There might be other paramparas, right? Like there is Oxford University. If you are in Oxford University, it's just great, but that doesn't mean that Cambridge University cannot be good as well. But as long as from whichever degree we will do, wherever we get the knowledge from, that university is good. Because if the university is good, we have more likelihood that the teacher would be good. And if, of course, we have to spend time in identify which teacher we would like to go for. For example, we have said, okay, we would like to go to the university, Oxford University, Cambridge University, or any university, but we don't know which course we would like to do. Based on the course, we will figure out which teacher we would like to go for. Similarly, if you say, oh, well, ISKCON is a great organization, we will get association. But within ISKCON, there are many different acharyas, many different and myself and Anil Prabhuji, we were discussing, so there are two different kind of teachers. So one is Siksha Guru, who provides the knowledge. There could be many Siksha Gurus, but then Diksha Guru is only one. And there are many in ISKCON, and then we will define which one we want to go for. And that Guru, once we will, so we can spend 6 months to 2 years identifying which Guru we would like to follow. But once we have identified, then the total surrender will come, or should come. And then we should just follow, and that teacher will take us, will explain what mantra 13 says, correct worship of. And we will see some examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita today, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's life, or 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Then why only from him? So this is the verse, evam parampara praptam, that a guru. So Krishna says to Arjun, Arjun says, so from where I get this knowledge? You are giving so much knowledge, but out there are so many people, from where they get the knowledge? Krishna says, any guru who comes from parampara, evam parampara gya. This is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. And then nothing else, only gives what's there in the Vedas, only gives what's there in the parampara. And this is the way Arjun followed Krishna. Why not worship anyone? We have seen many different examples, but a classic analogy which Srila Prabhupada gave and a lot of his disciples always give, that so a lot of people say, oh, well, it doesn't really matter, whichever route you take, you will reach to the same destination. Now, in one way, if you think about it, yes, that's true, because Krishna has said it. If you would like to do karma yoga, do nishkam karma yoga. If you want to do jnana yoga, then do jnana yoga for study Vedas and then get to the essence of Veda, which is Bhagavatam, and do the dhyana, chanting, meditation, and then you will reach to the bhakti, and that's the ultimate. In one sense, yes, that's true. But this is where people say, oh, well, I just want to do karma yoga, not nishkam karma yoga, just karma yoga. And that karma yoga means I will do the charity. That's it. I will just keep doing the charity. And I know a lot of people, they love doing charity, which is a great cause. This is a great cause. But just a bit of discussion, and they open their heart and they tell you without any exception. I mean, I have 3 people in my mind, and they've been doing charity for over 20 years now. And they say while doing charity makes them really good, really feel happy, but they don't know if they're making much difference in the society. Reason being, they have opened the hospitals, and people come, but the same people keep coming. And for example, if somebody who drinks alcohol falls sick, come back, doctors treat, but they go back and they drink alcohol, they come back and they treat again, and they keep going down. Some other people who don't take care of their health, and because of not having control on their senses, they overeat. Of course, this could be hereditary, but doctors say if it's just because of overeating. And the only reason they say, so somebody, a doctor, medical doctor said to me, the only reason is that they don't have control over their senses. That's it. And I thought, well, so he himself called himself as a karma yogi. He says, that's it. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to serve these people. I know that's a great thing, because Srila Prabhupada always said we should serve others. But then how far it could go, because you are saying the same people keep coming. And then he said, that's why I realized that a knowledge from Bhagavad Gita will be great, because we can treat them like what we say, cause and effect. And we say cure or precaution is better than cure. So the charity provide the cure most of the time, but Bhagavad Gita knowledge, what we are discussing here, or what we discuss in Mantra 9, 10, 11, the knowledge, the vidya, the understanding, that gives us the prevention, that why alcohol is bad, how to control our senses. So there was a NHS produced a report where I think it says 87% of the people who come to A&E, that could disappear just if people, humans, those who come, they could control their senses. Means whether they will not eat much, or they will not drink much, or they will have a sensible diet. And that's it. 87%, that's such a high number. And rest of it, 13% is a proper A&E, where accidents happen, and accidents do happen. But they said 87% could be prevented if people will have sense control. If they know they are doing something wrong, but they're doing it just because they cannot control. I met somebody a couple of days back who said to me that I used to go to gym, like he said, plus 20 plus years I've been to gym, but and now I'm saying, so what happened? Because obviously I can see him now, he's a bit old and big tummy, he cannot walk properly. And then he said, well, I changed my job and it wasn't that flexible, I got into bad association. And the trouble is, and this is what he said at the end, the trouble is there are so many good food out there and they all taste so good. And again, it comes back to the sense control. And we all laughed, of course, but the main thing is if we could control our senses. Now, Buddhism says we can control our senses, but Srila Prabhupada said it's yes, we can, but it's very hard. A bit easier than that is if we can engage our senses. So we should. Now, why not worship anyone? Because different routes will reach to the different destinations. So we should always be careful. If we will not spend time for our sense control, for our mind control, if we will not do chanting, then sooner or later we will fall. Sooner or later. It's like a GPS. We keep, Maya will keep us off the road. And then just having that knowledge, the instructions from gurus, the upasana we do, the right way of upasana takes us back. Again, we will get diverted. Again, it will keep us bringing back. And that's what. So the roadblocks we have, like Mataji was saying in the beginning, that from Manor to Manor, it took 3 hours because there was so many road blockages. What happened when the road blocked? We know that this road will go, M25 will go straight to Manor. But then if one junction is closed, what we will do? We will take another route. But when we will take another route, GPS will say how and when to come back to the same route. And that's what happens. So let's say there is another roadblock. And then again, we will go off, but then again, we come back. GPS will keep us bringing back. So we have GPS, global positioning system, or we say guru positioning system. Guru will keep changing our position, keep correcting our position. And that's so important to have the association of devotees. They keep bringing us back, because otherwise it will not do the correct worship, then it will be wrong worship and the results will be bad. Like results of not controlling our senses will be so bad and becomes puffed up. And there's an analogy here, examples we will see. We did see what then is the correct worship, Sambhava, which is a Sanskrit word used in mantra 13. Worship of the Supreme is the main. Like chapter 15, the very first verse, giving the water to the roots of the tree is better and the best thing to do rather than giving to the branches, the flowers, the fruits. So that is. What about social service? We have seen if you will just focus on social service, then that social service will be a cure, not a prevention. But when we spend time in bhakti, we will automatically get into social service, because social service is a subset of devotional service. So like what a lot of devotees, they do anyways. What proof of correct worship? So many different Puranas and the references are given by Srila Prabhupada ji. And it says, Aham sarvasya prabho mata smriti jnanam. So this is 10.8. And at the end, if we say the essence is one who decides to worship Krishna is called Buddha. Buddha is the wise one. So who is the wise one? who worship Krishna, who worship Ishwar, who worship the Absolute, who pour water in the roots. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is asking us to do. And we have seen the example of Arjun. Before hearing Bhagavad Gita, he had all the weapons, but still his mental stability wasn't good. After hearing, he became Buddha. Buddha, not enlightened, but in a sense that he became wise. He had that right knowledge what to do, and he could fight before, and others were fighting as well, but now he was the instrument. So when we are working as engineer, we are working as doctor, CA, any profession. So the working is the same, but with what attitude we are doing it. We always express gratitude towards Krishna. You have given us that, not that we will puff up. So where we have seen this, a lot of people, they say that, oh, well, we are so good because we have acquired, oh, in such a short period, I've done such a great degree, and because of that, I got this. No, because we don't need to become puffed up. That's a wrong kind of worship. If we remember that Krishna has given us everything, then we will remember that we should always follow the correct logic, and we should be grateful towards Krishna always. So Krishna is Sambhuta, the source of everything, and this is the essence of Vedanta Sutra. So we have the Vedas, and then we have the Sutras. Sutras are, well, the close in English language is the commandments. Sutra is the essence of it, or the whole Vedanta. And then that says the source is Krishna. And Abhigya, fully consciousness. This is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, the Abhigya, the very first verse of Bhagavad Gita. The top 3 verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, they are good enough for the whole essence. And Abhigya, this is the attributes of the Lord are given, and that explains whom to worship, the very first verse. And that's what it says here, that the source is Krishna. We should always look for the source, like for the tree, we should always look for the roots. And that's how we understand, this is the logic. That's how we understand that what is the correct worship of Lord Krishna. And the example, as we said, therefore must water the root and not the fruits, the plants. So we respect our guru because our guru connects to the roots. Not that the guru will say, do this for us, do that for us. No. So the guru will be somebody who will connect us to Krishna. And who refuses this worship? The word is Mura. So the fool. And it says foolish. I would also say we always have a kind heart, and we can say somebody who is unaware of it, right? So we don't have to go. Mura is of course we say fool, but Mura, the traditional Vedic word, Mura means somebody who is very innocent, who doesn't know about it. So we don't really need to say. So sometimes even in the family, somebody might say, oh, he's a fool. But that doesn't mean that the person is laughing on you. The person says he's very innocent. And that's why it is that person. And of course, there will be people who are envious, who are jealous of Krishna, those who would not like to surrender to Krishna because they don't. Like very first time, Srila Prabhupada ji said that surrender to Krishna, bow down to Krishna. And somebody said, I'm not going to bow down to anyone. And because obviously being hippies, the whole idea was that they had left the whole society, boycotted their own parents. They were open-minded. They were not surrendered to anyone. But Krishna, so Srila Prabhupada ji said, what Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, and that's how Srila Prabhupada ji got the trust in the Shastras, even for those hippies. Think about it. They boycotted the society. They boycotted their own parents. They boycotted the law. Right? But so Prabhupada ji said, Krishna said this in Bhagavad Gita. And isn't it true? And some of those logics were so straightforward. Then that's how Srila Prabhupada ji attracted their faith and trust towards Krishna. And then they said, well, that is, which is, they said, don't you surrender to the material world. Don't you run away when the nature will call you for your pee or stool. And won't you feel hungry because of the nature? And they said, yes. So, do you surrender to material world? Why don't you surrender to Krishna? And Krishna has given the solution there. Hare Krishna. Anil Prabhuji, please.
Prabhuji, thank you. So I just remembered one incident from one of the interviews of Srila Prabhupada when you said that I was just watching it today morning, and it was asked to one interviewer asked Srila Prabhupada that these days there are so many acharyas, they're performing magics, and what kind of magic have you done for the people to follow you? So Srila Prabhupada says, I have only done one big magic, and he says that is, I made the hippies happy. So I just remembered that quote when you mentioned about hippies. So I couldn't stop mentioning that. Uh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Until,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Indeed, much appreciated that. Thank you. And such a coincidence that this morning, another friend of mine, whom usually we have spiritual discussions, he sent me that Bollywood clip where it was Dum Maro Dum, and a lot of hippies were there taking drugs, I guess. And they said, well, Hare Krishna was widely accepted, he said. So he was kind of in a light humor. And I said, that's so true that when Srila Prabhupada landed in US, that his first audience was those hippies to whom he transformed into happies, and they became his disciples. And this is the difference. When a true leader appears, then he doesn't do the conversion, he transforms people, and people, they follow the leader without any. So Prabhupada ji never promised anything materially, like a lot of other different religions. They provide material gains, and because of them, they convert people, vulnerable people, I will say. So, but Prabhupada ji just gave the spiritual solution to all the material problems. And indeed, as you said, that was a magic indeed, because their own society, their own parents, they couldn't do much. And there were cases there that he's doing some kind of magic. They said it's a cult, but later on it was proved in the court case that it was not a cult. It's based on the whatever Srila Prabhupada was teaching in America. It was based on the parampara, which has been going in India for many, many, many generations. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for raising that hippies to happies. And that's it. So they refused everything. And Prabhupada would say they were fools. They were mooders, but not in a sense that they will have Prabhupada would have a laugh on them, but just to realize they're innocent. And this way, devotees, they never feel jealous with anyone. They won't laugh on anyone, but they will have a compassion. And that's the difference. Even if those who are faithless, those who will not align, could be from the same religion, could be different religion, whenever we discuss things, whenever we have debates, we always have that understanding that not that others are mudas, in a sense they are fools, and then we should not tell them about Krishna, but they're innocent, they don't know about Krishna, they're unaware of it, and maybe one day if you will start slowly they will learn. So but yes, this is because of our ego. It's hard for us to surrender to Krishna. And why they refuse? Therefore, no complete knowledge from an undisputed acharya. So they haven't got the teacher yet. Once they will have the teacher, then and teacher could be Siksha Guru, and of course it will be a pleasure to have a Diksha Guru. So how, and this is the last slide from Radhesham Prabhuji, say how how should we, I'm not sure why the is there, how should we correctly worship Krishna then? So hear and chant. So Prabhupada has written a very nice book. I recently gifted someone that chant and be happy. It's as simple as that. Nothing else is required. Just chant and be happy. But of course, when we chant, our consciousness get purified. So we should always spend time chanting. Basis of Srila Prabhupada ji and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, Upanishad is indirect, but Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishad, which is direct. So we have what we say, there is a Shruti, which we hear, and then Smriti, which somebody heard it and memorized it and then told us. So we should be careful. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, now coming on to the Mudas, there are people who don't sort of worship into Krishna, but go into the like demigods worship, like Mataji and Shivas. So, as per Srila Prabhupada, like they would be ignorant of Krishna, but they would be doing something else,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So, Mudas, I find it a little bit of a strong word that it seems to be all into that everybody should worship Krishna, but many people don't do that.
Yes, you're right, Mataji. It's you're right. It's just the word itself. For example, somebody told me, a traditional English person, that when he was a child, the word gay was used to be happy. So he said we used to say that, oh, it was a gayful time we had, like a very happy time we had. But now the context of that word has changed. He said, I cannot use that word anymore. And similarly, like blackboard, we are not supposed to use the word blackboard. And you're right, the Mura, and that's the reason I said, even the time of Buddha was so compassionate, and Buddha used the word Mura. But when he used the word Mura, that was full of compassion. Like, oh, you don't know about it. Let me tell you about this. Oh, you're right. That Srila Prabhupada ji put it fool. Srila Prabhupada ji actually said foolish to many people, and even to his disciples. And initially, people, especially from West, they become very, very defended. They say, "Well, this why do you call us fool?" But they realize later, and this is there. One of the direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada ji said it, that I was offended when Srila Prabhupada ji called me fool. Well, it took me a while to understand that how compassionate he was while he was using that word for me. So you're right, Mataji. This word Mura, the origin was not so stubborn, was not so strong. But the fool as a word now, for example, when we call servant, we should be the servant of our teacher. We should be the servant of Krishna. When we see the word servant, it's such a bad reputation these days. But when we say service, so for example, people say I'm a civil servant. Even in this country, people say, so a couple of my friends, they are very senior, they call them, we are senior civil servant, and of course government servant, people say. So the word was there, but it has degraded hugely the way it's been going on. And you're right. Let's say if Anil Prabhuji would like to add something to it. Anil Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji raised a very, very interesting point. I was just wanting to test my knowledge on the point that Mataji has very correctly raised. So, I mean, yes, Srila Prabhupada ji and ISKCON as such places Krishna in the center of everything. But we also learned in one of the previous classes, recent classes, that worshipping demigods or worshipping any other god simply does not make a devotee a mudha, because the center of the worship is not Krishna, but it's only the purpose. The purpose for which they are worshipping demigods classifies them as Muda or Buddha. I think if they worship Shiva or any other demigod for that matter for the right reasons, so as to achieve a bhakti or devotion, pure devotion of God, then that would lead them to be a Buddha. But if the same worship, if they worship Shiva with an intention to gain material, to achieve material supremacy, then that same worship would lead them to the path of being a Mura. So I think it's there where the distinction lies. I'm just trying to apply my knowledge to what Mataji has so beautifully pointed out.
Hare Krishna.
I think that's very good. That's very good that people, but I think that's quite a, I mean, obviously people worship for some gains, but there are others who don't worship for anything. They just worship, like as you say, we worship Krishna for just for as a service attitude. But I'm sure this attitude is there in those who do demigods worship as well, without any motivation. So we should be there, as you say, it is the motivation that is important to label somebody into what way, what it is. But I liked when Prabhuji said that he considers Buddhas as somebody who's ignorant. I think I like that sentence, that somebody who's ignorant can be considered as a Buddha rather than fool and asses. Other thing I must say that when I was very young, I think there was must be about few years, 6 or 7, and my dad called me silly at that time for some reason, and I felt so offended that I crept under a bed and never came out for nearly about 3 to 4 hours. But when you grow old, you realize that it didn't mean anything by calling you silly. So that is what you have been trying to tell, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So nice, Mataji. And thanks to Prabhuji as well. Prabhuji rightly said it. And you're right, Mataji, the intention behind. And I'm pretty sure there are so many devotees of so many different demigods, demigoddesses, that their devotion to their what we call Ishtadev,
Mm.
it's pure, and there is nothing hidden in it. But like what Srila Prabhupada ji says, that so there was I'm sure we have shared it before. There was a very old lady whose job was to go to the jungle, collect a wood, and bring back to her house in the village and just sell that wood. That was the whole livelihood. And then once when she went, then she was obviously getting old. She got that, she made the whole bundle, she put it on her head, and it just tipped down, and then it fell down. And she wanted to pick up, but she was so tired she couldn't do it. And then at that moment, she said, "Oh Krishna," and Krishna appeared, because the intention was so pure. Krishna appeared, and Krishna said, "Oh mother, what can I do for you?" And then what she said, "Well, could you please put that bundle on my head so I can take it back?" Because she was so much absorbed in her duty, and she didn't have any hidden agenda there. She just wanted to perform her duty, and she didn't even want anything else from Krishna. She was happy in her own life. But in one sense, what Srila Prabhupada ji is saying, that she could have asked that, take me with you. She could have asked, oh, give me your bhakti. She could have asked, oh, give me the knowledge, give me the jnana, so I can understand the true nature of you. So this is what it is. And you're right, there could be a very fine line. And even those who are serving Krishna, you will find in any temple, not to take any temple's name, but any temple you will take, it's hard to figure out what the intentions are, because it's very personal relationship with Krishna. So, and of course, it's not because we are Hare Krishna devotees, we will not pray to any demigods. Well, whether it's Ganesh Chaturthi, whether it's Mahashivratri, Navratri for the Durga, we all perform the fasts for all these. And the only thing is, when we pray, we request the pure devotion. And that's the only main thing, that when we will pour the water on the branches, on the fruits and the flowers, it's not to degrade the value of them, but just to have the realization that they all will get the water, not pouring directly on them, but when we'll pour the water on roots. And but yes, The word itself is so when like silly, you said, Mataji, you're so right. I remember, so my kids were born in Sheffield, which is up north next to Manchester. And we used to have 70, now must be 80 plus old retired nurse next to us, our neighbor, and our kids were just born. And she called my son then, when he was very small. She said, "Oh, you rascal." And this is a very strong word. And we were offended. I said, What did he do? But then in the culture, and even dictionary wise, if you check what rascal means, it says it's somebody who is very cheeky, especially for a child. So it's not that the person has done something, but because small kids, they play around, they might say that I will give you the toy, but when you're about to catch, then they will take their toy back, and they're just playing around. And maybe it's one of those acts. She found he was cheeky, and she just said very compassionately, she said, the rascal. And there was nothing wrong in it. But of course, the culture I was born in, saying rascal to someone was a very bad thing. And but so it's very important to understand the context of it. Prabhupada ji actually used to say rascals to many people. However, Prabhupada ji always said to his disciples that, remember, I am a very old person and a small child, and people as old as me, they can get away with these things, but you should be careful what you say to the people. So that's why, being the devotees, the disciples, we should not borrow the words from Srila Prabhupada ji. So we share the anecdotes and we say, oh, Prabhupada ji said this, but that doesn't mean that because Prabhupada ji could say that, we should also say that, or we could say that. Maybe not. But very, very good discussion. Thank you for raising that, Mataji. And Hare Krishna. Thank you, Anil Prabhuji, for chipping in. Great to hear your examples as well. So on Radhesham Prabhuji's presentation on this point, where Prabhuji says, of course, how we should do it. Again, the essence is Guru, Sadhu, Shastras, and all of them will take us to Krishna that we should hear. So 9 forms of bhakti, Nav Vidya Bhakti, and the very first one is hearing. So we should hear and we should chant, take the name of the Lord. Chanting is one of those things. So I mentioned it before. I have asked questions around, and I still do. And few Prabhujis, they have given me direct answers, and others not so direct. But what I have established, the essence, which some of them they have said it directly, that any devotional service we do, any, whether it's cooking in the kitchen, whether it's the hospitality. So when somebody comes to Mana, we take the new devotees around to show them, whether you're volunteering in the bookshelf or distributing books, whether you're delivering a lecture, whether you're cleaning the temple, any devotional service you do, the whole purpose of any of those or the combination of those is to improve the quality of your chanting. Because chanting is the only time when you are direct with Krishna. So when we, of course, the kirtan is different. Kirtan is when we come together as a congregation and we take the name of the Lord, right? But chanting, when we sit, it could be any time of the day, but especially right in the morning in Mangla, or after Mangla Aarti, or during Brahma, when we sit together, we take the beads out and we chanting. It's between us and Krishna, right? So that quality, if whether we are thinking of something else, the whole task list we are writing at that moment in the mental, or something is keeping us awake, or we are just thinking about Krishna, nothing else. And we don't even need to think, we just need to hear what we are saying. So we say Hare Krishna, and we hear Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Nothing else. So we don't need to. So somebody said to Prabhupada that, so I picturize the deity Krishna. So Prabhupada said, don't do that. Because what if you will move from one place to another and the deity will change? What will happen then? Your deity will change, and if you will focus on one form of Krishna, then that form will be very dear to you. But Krishna comes in different forms. And remember, as it says that Brahman realization, Bhagwan realization, Paramatma realization. So all three different realizations are there, but the essence is saying that Krishna is everywhere in different forms and attributes. But when we take the name of the Lord, then we are not restricting Krishna. We say Hare Krishna, and then we just hear Hare Krishna. That's it. So we say it and we hear it. And this is the power of now, what Buddhist says. You're in the present moment. You're not imagining anything. Mentally, you're not thinking anything, and you're not doing anything. So you have your thoughts, you can think, you can verbally have a speech, you can say something, or you can do something. But here, thoughts, you don't have any thoughts. It's very hard to stop your thoughts. But when we chant, we are engaging our senses. We say and we hear, and this is how we can control our thoughts. And if we can control our thoughts, I think 90% of our problems are gone. And there was another statistics that I think it's like 9%. 9% of people, so a doctor did an experiment that 9% of the people, they die from the real disease. Rest of 91%, they die just the fear of it, just the fear of it. And why fear? What happens when we are fearful? We think about it. It's just the thought process. It continues, goes on, it keeps going. And that's what we need to control. So hear and chant the very first thing, and the simple thing, whatever we are doing, we could do it. We are working from home, we can do it. We are retired, we can do it. We are in the gym, we can do it. We are walking, we can do it. We are ironing, we can do it. We are cooking, we can do it. It's relatively very, very, very easy. And of course, when we read the books, it's good. Benefits and perfection for this correct worship, which is called Sambhava, the Sanskrit word used in this. So Lord helps by giving inner directions. So we have discussed this. This is Chaitya Guru. Lord is there in the form of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, which is also called Paramatma, in everyone's heart, living or non-living. So gut feeling, we get it. Something from inside tells us that this is good, this is bad. We just need to have the ability to hear it, to listen it. And then, of course, the sense control in order to follow it. So our body is saying that don't eat more. Don't eat more. Like what we say is, oh, the stomach is full, but my senses are still not fulfilled. Let me have more. So the body is telling us, but our senses are not in control. So the very first thing, the ability to listen to our body, listen to the Chaitya Guru inside the body, and then the sense control to follow it. That's it. Those two things we need to do. So most of the people, they know what's right and wrong, right? But sense control, how could we follow it? Whether we could follow it or not. And then attracts the attention of Lord. So this is the efforts. When we do the efforts, then it attracts the attention. Heart gets cleansed of contamination, and we did discuss this, that it's not that anyone else will get. When we do devotional service, it's a service. We are doing something for someone, and they might get benefit, they might not, but we get benefit. And we have taken the example of Jatayu. So Jatayu said that, I'm so sorry I couldn't save Sita. But Lord Ram said, I'm going to give you what I couldn't give to my own father. I could not do Antim Sanskar for my own father. Remember, Lord Rama was born to someone as a son, and everybody wants a son. So at the end, somebody could do my Antim Sanskar, my final crematorium ceremony. But Dashrath couldn't have that from Lord Rama. But Lord Rama did it for Jatayu. because Lord Rama said it's not what you could achieve, that whether you could save Sita or not. You are so old compared to Ravana, you were so weak, but your efforts, that during the process of trying to save Mother Sita, you gave away your life. And that's where this helps. This says how pure your efforts were, and that attracts the attention of the Lord, and that those devotional service clean, and we realize ourselves that we are getting better. Like, so how somebody says, I don't know whether the chanting is working or not. I say, well, are you getting purified or not? If you're cleaning the utensil, is it getting cleaned or not? I don't know. Well, see if the dirt is coming out or not. And people just a bit of self-realization. Mode of passion and ignorance are removed by Lord's grace. Again, we get into goodness. Everything changes. The thoughts, what do we want to listen? What do we want to watch? What do we want to read? Everything slowly, gradually changes. Situated in the quality of goodness, Brahminical qualities, like chapter 14, 26 qualities of Brahmin, which as a devotee we all should have or should develop slowly, gradually. Even low-born person can be purified. So it's not that somebody is born as a Brahmin in a Brahmin family. No, we can become Brahmin. We could acquire those qualities by devotional service. Happy and enthusiastic. You see the devotees. So oxymoron, devotees are not sad. Devotees are always happy, always enthusiastic, would like to do more. Science of God is unveiled. So people won't understand, but Guru Sadhu Shastras will tell us the science, that how it works, how the law of karma works. Doubtful mind becomes crystal clear. That it becomes very, very, very clear, very clear. Not only to yourself, but the people you are with, they realize it very, very nice. That you can see the real truth. So thank you so much for everyone's presence today. We have completed Radhesham Prabhuji's. We will see Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji's presentation next week, and we'll try to summarize the whole mantra 13 next week, maybe, and then we will take it from there. Well, thank you so much for your presence, and thank you so much, Mataji and Anil Prabhuji, for your questions, for your discussions. It always makes the session more lively. And look forward to see you next Saturday as well. My Danvat pranams to you and to Srila Prabhupada ji. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.